So the very first thing that I notice on this problem is that it tells me that D is the centroid. D is the centroid of the triangle. Oops. So we're going to come over here to the picture, and we're going to label this as the centroid. Because D is the centroid, what is the special name for points C, B, and F? Midpoints. C is a midpoint. B is a midpoint. And F is also a midpoint. When we have a centroid, the segments that have been drawn from a vertex to a side are medians, and a median goes from a vertex to a midpoint. Yeah, you're good. So because C is a midpoint, AC and GC are congruent. Because F is a midpoint, EF and GF are congruent. And because B is a midpoint, BE and AB are congruent. Now, before break, we learned about some special relationships that happen along a single median with regards to where the centroid is. The smaller segment that goes from the centroid to the midpoint, we called X. The longer segment from the centroid to the vertex was 2X. So that means the whole median would be how long? If this much is 2X and this much is X, how much is the whole median? 3X, yes. And that is going to be true, that X, 2X, 3X relationship will be true for every median. So this median right here, from D to C, would that be X, 2X, or 3X? X. And so from E to D would be how much? 2X. Yes, it's twice as big as the segment from D to C. What about on this median right here, BG? From D to G, would that be X, 2X, or 3X? 2X. That's the longer segment. And so what about this? X. Yes. Now, this is not to say that the length from D to C is the same as the length from D to F, because it's not. What we're saying is that along one median, the length from the corner to the centroid is twice as big as from the centroid to the midpoint. All right, let's go through these 4 questions over here. It says if AF is 18, then AD equals and DF equals. All right, so if we're looking at AF, that would be this right here. Is that X, 2X, or 3X? 3X, because it's the whole median. So I would have 3X equals 18. And then we divide both sides by 3, so that means X is what? X is 6, yes. Thank you. Thank you. X is 6. So then when I go to look at AD, AD is X, 2X, or 3X? 2X. AD is 2X, and we said that X was 6, so this would be 2 times 6, which means AD is 12. If AD is 12, how big is DF? 6, yes. All right, next one, it says ED is 27. Well, here's ED. Is that an x, 2x, or 3x? 2x. So we have 2x equals 27. To find what x is, we divide both sides by 2. What is half of 27? Yes, 13.5. So EC, this right here, x, 2x, or 3x? 3x, because it's the whole median. So this would be 3x, so that's 3 times 13.5. What is 3 times 13.5? 40.5. And then how big would CD be? 13.5, because it's just my x. So that would be 13.5. All right. Says BD is 19. BD is this right here. Is that x, 2x, or 3x? X. So x equals 19. So how would I find DG then? Yes, we're going to take 19 times 2. This is 2x, so that's 2 times 19. What is 2 times 19? What is 2 times 19? 38. And then BG would be this right here. X, 2x, or 3x? 3x. So we're going to do 3 times 19. Yep. What is 3 times 19? You're welcome. What is 3 times 19? 57. All right, then the last question, it says EF is 2H plus 10. So that would be this, 2H plus 10. And FG is 32. FG right here is 32. What do we know about EF and FG? They're congruent. So I can say that EF is congruent to FG. That means the length of EF is equal to the length of FG. So I can say 2H plus 10 equals 32. Then I would subtract 10 from both sides. What is 32 minus 10? 22. So 2H equals 22. Then we divide both sides by 2, and that means H is what? H is 11. Perfect. All right, we have one more example problem that we're going to do, and then you guys will have the rest of the time to work on the homework that is due tomorrow. So we're going to flip to page 10 and look at number 9. First thing the directions tell me is that V is the centroid of the triangle. So I'm going to come over here. We're going to mark V like this. We're going to label it as the centroid. If V is the centroid, then what are U, S, and T? Midpoints, yes. That means that QS and PS are congruent. UP and UR are congruent. And QT is congruent to TR. What segments are drawn in the picture? I mentioned this on the previous problem. What do we call this segment that goes from a corner to a midpoint on a triangle? What do we call the segment that goes from a point to a corner? A median, yes. These are all medians. All right, so let's label up our x, 2x, 3x. This segment right here would be x, 2x, or 3x? X. What about this segment here? That'd be a 2x. What about this one? X. This. 2x. This. X. And finally this one. 2x, yes. If it goes from the centroid to a corner, it's a 2x. It's a longer segment. If it goes from the centroid to the side, centroid to midpoint, that's going to be an x. If VU equals 8, VU would be this right here. We said that that was x, 2x, or 3x? X. So x is 8. Then QV would be how big? 2x. We said that x was 8, so this would be 2 times 8. So how big is QV? 16. QU would be this right here, x, 2x, or 3x? 3x, because it's the whole median. So that would be 3 times 8, which is how much? 24. All right, then it says that VR is 22. VR is this right here. X, 2x, or 3x? 2x. Well, if 2x is 22, then how big is x? 11, yes. So then this segment right here would be how much? 3x. And x is 11 this time. So SR is how big? 33, yes. And SV, this right here, is going to be how big? 11, yes. That is x, which on this problem is 11, or at least on this part of this problem. All right, 2 more to go. It says PT is 27. PT, this right here, is 27. X, 2x, or 3x? 3x. Well, if 3x is 27, then how much is just x? Nine. X would be 9. So then to find PV, is that an x, 2x, or 3x? 2x. So we do 2 times 9, which would be how much? 18. And then VT, this much right here, would be how big? 9, because it's X. All right, last part. Says QR is 8Y minus 16. QR is this whole thing right here. 8Y minus 16. And TR is 3Y plus 7. That would be this right here. 3Y plus 7. So we're supposed to find the length of QT. What's the relationship between TR and QR? What's the relationship between TR and QR? They're not the same size. It's a small piece of it. Specifically, it would take how many segments this size to make the whole thing? 2. It's half of the whole thing. So TR, if I double the length of TR, then I'm going to get QR. So if I do 2 times the length of TR, I will get the length of QR. So we're going to do 2 times 3Y plus 7 equals 8Y minus 16. And then we're going to distribute this 2 inside the parentheses. 2 times 3Y gives me 6Y. 2 times 7 gives me 14. Equals 8Y minus 16. Now we're going to get our Y's on the same side, so I'm going to minus 6Y from both sides. So I have 14 equals 2Y minus 16. Then I'm going to add 16 to both sides. What's 14 plus 16? 30. So I have 30 equals 2Y. Divide both sides by 2, and that means Y is how big? Y is 15. But that is not what we were asked to find. We were asked to find QT. Well, how big is QT? They didn't give me that. It's congruent to TR, yes. QT is congruent to TR, so the length of QT is equal to the length of TR. So QT is equal to 3Y plus 7. So QT equals 3 times 15 plus 7. What is 3 times 15? What is 3 times 15? 45, yep. So we have 45 plus 7. What is 45 plus 7? 52, yes. QT is 52. Very nicely done. All right. That is all we are doing in your notes for today. Homework number 3 is due tomorrow. You received this Friday before break when we graded the previous homework. If you do not have a copy of it, please check your folders first. But if you do not have a copy of it, I have extra copies over here in this red organizer. You are welcome to come and grab a copy. This is due tomorrow, and you guys have the rest of the class period to work on that assignment.